Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Unfrickin' believable. What we are witnessing is truly unbelievable, in the sense that you would not have believed it. If we went back 10 years and told you that Joe Biden wearing a diaper with a non-functioning brain would become president, you wouldn't believe it. But that's exactly what happened. And now it's to the point where it's essentially become a bipartisan consensus. Republicans, independents, and Democrats alike all feel the same way, that Joe Biden is old, frail, and clearly not fit to do the job. The polling data certainly indicates that. It's gotten to a point where people are just staring at their screens honestly horrified as to what it is exactly that they are seeing. This is the President of the United States. You know, that sentence has to be said correctly. This is how it should be said. Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States. But with Joe Biden, the tone completely shifts. It's Joe Biden, yeah, this guy, he's the President of the United States. How'd that happen? Election day is getting closer and closer, and so let's have an honest conversation and talk about these two candidates on the issue of mental and physical fitness, the ability to do the job as president and do it effectively. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so it's the G7, and Joe Biden, leader of the free world, is out there really setting the tone. Yeah, no, not really, but you could certainly tell that I'm setting a tone of utter disappointment and disbelief. What the frick am I even watching? Joe Biden's supposed to be there as the leader of the free world, but instead he's there getting chaperoned by other G7 leaders. What am I watching? It's almost as if he's a toddler, surrounded by a bunch of adults telling him where to walk and, oh, look over here, old man. Careful, watch your step. It's unbelievable. And during last week's event, at the Normandy Memorial Celebration, this old sleepy fart fell asleep upright in his chair, sunbaking in the damn rays.
Au-dessus de nos têtes, les énormes obus de nos navires de guerre.
If it's not falling asleep in the middle of the day during a hugely televised event, then it's Joe Biden randomly shuffling off, again like a child, needing to be pulled back in and chaperoned by the rest of these world leaders. You know that we've become desensitized to this crap because at this point we know all his moves. There's the Joe Biden anyways, where he gets confused and then just says anyways and pretends as if it didn't actually matter, so he'll just move on speaking to avoid exposing himself.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to... Anyway.
There's the Joe Biden Roomba shuffle, where he doesn't know where to go off stage, and so he kind of just goes around like a Roomba. There's the Joe Biden doze off, the Joe Biden wander, where Joe Biden aimlessly just walks away for no apparent reason when he's clearly supposed to be participating in some sort of event. How many times have we seen Joe Biden just wander off camera?
Every American, whether they voted for me or not.
Well, and the ones that didn't vote for your bills but run on them.
That's right.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Nicole,
much.
I appreciate
it's great to have you.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. It's a very exciting day around here.
Bye. Have a beautiful time.
Of the estuary of the Delaware River and the Atlantic Ocean and the Chesapeake. And so the whole point of this is that we can do a lot to deal with endangered species. And one of the things I would like to raise is that we have to deal with this on an international basis as well. Because right now, for example,
just doing a live stream campaign event, Joe Biden casually walking out of frame or walking off the set before the show even wraps up. The typical Joe Biden wander. This is the guy who's running the frickin' show, people. This is the guy who the media keeps gaslighting us about. PBS anchor says Trump not at all coherent in speeches compared to Biden.
Tam, for all his calls for President Biden to undergo some kind of cognitive test, it's clear to say Mr. Trump's remarks are not at all coherent in these rallies.
Mr. Trump's remarks have never been super coherent in his rallies. I'm not sure that I can weigh in on how much they have veered in the last couple of months, but this split screen has always been there will always be there. They are different people. It was an implicit split screen with Trump. It was an effort by Biden and his team to draw a contrast with his opponent without saying his name.
Trump is literally crazy on stage, and I say it not in a good way, not well, not fit, not mentally capable of holding together a sentence when his prompter goes down. And yet Biden is constantly covered for being old.
They're actually trying to make the argument. It's the no you argument. Joe Biden's clearly suffering dementia. No, you are. No, Trump is. What are these people even talking about? Trump is incoherent. Excuse me, but we just saw Joe Biden's performances at these globalist events. Let's just say I can tell quite the difference between Sleepy Creepy Joe's performance and Trump's performances.
Flashback.
Become totally dependent on Russian energy if it does not immediately change course.
Soon after.
This has to be a joke. I cannot believe this is happening.
Yeah, I don't know, seems pretty based and badass to me. But we're supposed to believe that Donald Trump's the one with cognitive issues. He's the one who's not at all coherent. It's Joe Biden who's the competent one. Let's just dispel that, shall we, as if we haven't already, with his pathetic performance at the G7. Here's Joe Biden at the White House, forgetting he shook someone's hand exactly 3 seconds after he shook that person's hand. Look at the utter confusion in this man's face.
Now our great speaker, our partner who...
Of course, I'm not done there. Let's now take a look at Joe Biden's performance during an event with Zelensky after the G7.
It includes major commitments from Ukraine to impact on the matter of Russia's frozen assets in Europe and other places outside of Russia, critical to its defense production, like microeconomic.
The guy can't speak, and to be honest, it seems as though he can't even human anymore. Just look at the way he walks. To be honest, I'm not even saying this to be shocking, controversial, outrageous. This isn't hyperbole, but the guy looks like he's on drugs. It looks like they're pumping him up with something, and he's walking out there just like trying to maintain. Look how awkward he looks when he's walking. It's unbelievable. He's in a constant state of confusion.
On 50 billion loan for Ukraine, it's a vital step forward in providing sustainable support for Ukraine in winning.
It's unbelievable. It's gotta stop. This guy cannot win his bid for re-election. The damage done would simply be too great. There is no comparison between him and Donald Trump. Trump goes to these events and he usually goes with an agenda. I mean, all those years ago when he went to the UN, he went with an ambition to get Germany and other EU nations to step it up in terms of defense funding, that America couldn't foot the whole bill. And what ended up happening? Not only did they start contributing more, but they also got completely exposed when this whole Eastern European conflict started. They weren't prepared, and Donald Trump was right on their reliance on Russian oil and gas. That was true leadership. That was true presence. But now we have Joe Biden shuffling around and trying not to shit himself. Please, it's gotta stop.